5 billionaires. You didn't know were criminals behind the glitz, glam, and fortune of billionaires. Lies a darker side that most people don't know about. Some of the world's richest people have secrets. Secrets that would shock you. Welcome back, folks. Today, we're diving into a wild topic. 5 billionaires you didn't know were criminals. We're not talking about minor infractions here. Some of these guys got involved in crimes that would make your jaw drop. You may think money and power protect you from the law, but sometimes even the wealthiest aren't immune from criminal activity. So buckle up, because these billionaire scandals are going to shock you. So without any further delay, let's get started. Number 1. Robert Allen Stanford, the Ponzi scheme king. Let's dive into the story of Robert Allen Stanford, a man who once had it all: private jets, luxury yachts, and even a reputation as a philanthropist. But in reality, he was running one of the biggest Ponzi schemes in history. Stanford, who made his billions in the investment world, promised investors massive returns through his company, Stanford Financial Group. He convinced the wealthy and influential that they were getting exclusive, high-yield certificates of deposit. But in 2009, it all came crashing down. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, revealed that Stanford was not making the returns he promised. Instead, he was using new investor money to pay off earlier investors, just like any classic Ponzi scheme. The scam amounted to a staggering $7 billion. Despite his luxurious lifestyle, which included sponsoring professional sports and hosting exclusive parties, Stanford was living a lie. When the authorities finally caught up with him, the scale of his fraud was jaw-dropping. In 2012, he was sentenced to 110 years in prison for his role in the fraud. Stanford's downfall is a reminder that no matter how rich or well-connected you are, crime doesn't pay. Eventually, the law catches up. His rise and fall serve as one of the most audacious criminal stories in the world of billionaires. Number 2. Bernie Madoff. Bernie Madoff was a financier and former chairman of the Nasdaq Stock Exchange, best known for orchestrating one of the largest Ponzi schemes in history. For decades, Madoff ran an investment firm that promised consistently high returns, attracting wealthy individuals, celebrities, banks, and hedge funds. His firm appeared legitimate, and he built a reputation as a trusted and successful financial expert. However, behind the scenes, Madoff was running a fraudulent scheme, using funds from new investors to pay returns to earlier ones. The scheme began to unravel during the 2008 financial crisis, when many investors sought to withdraw their money. Unable to meet the withdrawal demands, Madoff's fraudulent activities were exposed. Investigators later revealed that Madoff had defrauded his clients of an estimated $65 billion, one of the largest financial frauds in history. The returns Madoff promised were fabricated, and most investors lost their savings. In December 2008, Madoff was arrested and charged with multiple felonies, including securities fraud, money laundering, and perjury. In 2009, he pled guilty and was sentenced to 150 years in prison. His actions destroyed the lives of thousands of people and severely damaged the public's trust in the financial system. Madoff's case remains a cautionary tale of how unchecked greed and the allure of seemingly guaranteed returns can lead to devastating fraud. His scheme serves as a stark reminder of the importance of transparency and regulation in the financial world. Number 3. Martin Shkreli, price gouging and securities fraud. Next, we have Martin Shkreli, a name that most people associate with controversy and scandal. Known as the Pharma Bro, Shkreli became infamous for his involvement in the price gouging scandal of 2015. Shkreli, at the time CEO of Turing Pharmaceuticals, raised the price of the life-saving drug Daraprim, used to treat parasitic infections in HIV patients, by a staggering 5,000%, from $13.50 per pill to $750. This move sparked outrage across the country, with critics accusing him of price gouging and putting patients' lives at risk for profit. But that wasn't the only criminal activity Shkreli was involved in. His financial dealings raised even bigger questions. In 2017, Shkreli was convicted of securities fraud for manipulating stock prices at his former hedge fund, MSMB Capital Management. He was found guilty of using fraudulent practices, such as making false statements to investors, to inflate the value of his hedge fund's stocks and pocket the gains. In the end, his manipulation led to millions in losses for investors. Shkreli's arrogant behavior and lack of remorse made him a poster child for corporate greed. In 2018, he was sentenced to 7 years in prison for securities fraud. To this day, his name is synonymous with the worst of Wall Street: greedy, manipulative, and with little regard for the lives of others. Number 4. J.Y. Lee. Now let's talk about J.Y. Lee, the billionaire heir to Samsung's empire. Lee's criminal history might not be as widely known as some of the others on this list, but it's a shocking tale of corporate corruption and bribery. Lee was the de facto leader of Samsung Group, one of the world's largest and most influential tech conglomerates, after his father, Lee Kun-hee, was incapacitated due to a stroke. In 2017, Lee was caught up in a massive bribery and corruption scandal that rocked South Korea's political landscape. The scandal involved former South Korean President Park Geun-hye and her close confidant Choi Soon-sil. It was revealed that Lee had paid bribes totaling $38 million to Choi in exchange for political favors and help in securing government backing for a controversial merger between two Samsung affiliates, which would solidify his control over the company. In 2017, Lee was convicted of bribery, embezzlement, and perjury and sentenced to 5 years in prison. However, after appealing, his sentence was reduced, and in 2018, he was released on parole after serving just over a year. While the case shed light on the deep-rooted corruption in South Korea's business-political ties, it also raised questions about the influence of billionaires like Lee, who seem to operate above the law. Lee's story is a stark reminder that even the most powerful figures can fall victim to their own greed and ambition. Number 5. Curtis Johnson. Next up, let's talk about Curtis Johnson, a lesser-known but significant figure in the world of billionaire criminals. Johnson, a tech mogul and founder of a prominent software company, built his fortune through pioneering work in cloud computing and artificial intelligence. He was hailed as a visionary in the tech industry, and his wealth allowed him to live a lavish lifestyle, complete with private jets and luxury homes. But behind his success, Johnson was hiding a dark side. In 2016, he was arrested and charged with corporate fraud after it was discovered that he had been inflating the value of his company's stock to deceive investors. Johnson had been engaging in manipulative accounting practices, intentionally misrepresenting the financial health of his company to secure higher investments and boost stock prices. He used his position to hide massive financial losses, eventually costing investors millions of dollars. Beyond the financial fraud, Johnson was also found guilty of money laundering through offshore accounts to conceal the illegal gains. The case revealed a disturbing pattern of dishonesty and manipulation, showing how some billionaires use their wealth and influence to evade justice for years. In 2018, after a lengthy legal battle, Johnson was convicted and sentenced to 12 years in federal prison. His case serves as a reminder that even those who appear to be tech geniuses aren't immune to criminal behavior. So there you have it. 5 billionaires whose stories went from building empires to committing shocking crimes. Which of these billionaire scandals surprised you the most? Or do you think there are others who should have made this list? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the darker side of the ultra-wealthy, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more shocking stories from the world of billionaires, criminals, and scandals. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay curious. See you next time.